Today I'm joined by Amelie Arras from Zumo Money, which is a cryptocurrency app, and I thought I'd ask her some questions about crypto, basically because I don't really understand it. But also Amelie has a fascinating story to tell because also she travelled the world using crypto only. Thank you for joining me today, Amelie. I'm really chuffed that you joined us on LOQPOD.
Thank you so much, Katy. It's lovely to be here with you today.
So may I pick your brains a little bit on this and maybe start asking you a little bit about Zumo Money to begin with. So what exactly is Zumo Money and how does it work?
So Zumo Money is a fintech app, a financial technology platform. So we've got two sides of the business. I'll be talking to you possibly about our app, which is our consumer app. So people can download Zumo from the app stores, and with the app you can start your crypto journey. So what we've created is an app that is extremely easy and simple for anyone to buy Bitcoin and Ether, which are the two most famous cryptocurrencies. And so you can buy and sell these cryptocurrencies, and then we've got a Visa debit card where you can go and spend your money like normal.
So, I mean, this is what I don't really understand about crypto, and I'm sure it's just me not being very intelligent, really. But what exactly is it and how does it work? Can you use it like normal money? How do you get involved in cryptocurrency?
So, cryptocurrency is it's basically an asset, as we call it. Some people call it an asset, or they call it a currency. The currency usually is something that you use to buy goods, that is accepted as a tender to pay for goods and services. Cryptocurrency currently is more of an asset, because like people are not really using it to pay for goods. People mostly into the UK anyway, they use it to trade. So the price goes up. People might be buying or selling. So people are more like speculating on cryptocurrency at the moment. Now there are some amazing and super cool technologies that goes with cryptocurrency. So for example, we've got one of the cryptocurrency that we've got currently in the app is called Bitcoin SV. And Bitcoin SV is the currency is very cheap to transfer from one person to another, and it's instant. And there is a huge community that use Bitcoin SV to play games. So if you imagine you go and play your games, within the game you buy your avatar, you buy your little helmet, you buy all this kind of stuff. Well, people use Bitcoin SV to transfer and to buy stuff onto the game, which means that recently there's been a huge volume of transaction on that particular blockchain, the Bitcoin SV blockchain. So yes, that's basically what cryptocurrency is. There is one side where it is an asset, so that you buy and the value might appreciate or depreciate, and then there is this other side of cryptocurrency that is used as a means to transfer value as a payment method. So to transfer value very cheaply and very fast without being subject to the bank, let's say opening hours if you want to transfer money, etc.
That's perfectly well described, actually. That makes a lot more sense to me, because I've heard there are certain vendors out there that are actually using crypto now. They're accepting crypto as payments. I think, not to name any, but I think it's Starbucks is one that sometimes uses it in some places around the world. I mean, perhaps this is a good time to kind of introduce what you did and your journey using crypto, because you've just mentioned how it's more of a kind of an asset rather than something you used to go and pay for goods. But look, I'm not going to be the spoiler. Tell me what you did.
So I went traveling around the world using only Bitcoin. So I traveled from Toronto to Las Vegas, from Hong Kong to Singapore, and to Turkey to Amsterdam. So over 16 countries in the world, paying only with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well.
Right.
Um, so, and it's funny you mentioned Starbucks as someone who accepts cryptocurrency, because I tell you, so I did that first travel in 2017. So when I left Toronto, I did a huge amount of research on where could I spend Bitcoin. If I was going to travel with it, I must have like some places where clearly they will accept it. Starbucks had loads of press around Bitcoin, that they accepted Bitcoin. So I was like, oh my God, brilliant. What I'm going to do is like, the first thing I'm doing when I arrive in Columbus, where one of the challenges that I had to do was to go to the Jack Nicklaus Museum and buy a souvenir. So I was like, perfect, Columbus. When I get to Columbus, I'm gonna go straight to the Starbucks and I'm gonna eat, because at that point I hadn't really eaten for about 12 hours, which is quite a lot of time for me. It doesn't sound maybe a lot.
No, it is. That's a long time.
And so I went to Starbucks super, like imagine like super up, super excited. And I went to the counter and I said like, hey, here we go, that's it. Like, can I pay with Bitcoin? And the face of that lady was just, she looked at me and she was like, what?
Oh, they didn't accept it.
And they didn't accept it.
Oh, wow.
So I showed her the article and I was like, look, it says that you accept Bitcoin. So, and she said like, no one told us anything about it. Like, we don't accept, it's not on the system. She was like, is that with a card? And I was like, no. She was like, but it's not in dollar. I was like, no, it's not. So she had really, really no clue about it. She gave me a coffee in the end. But yeah, but that's one example of I'd say places where I thought that I could spend Bitcoin that did not accept Bitcoin.
So how did you do things like buy tickets? Did you have to, I mean, could you physically use Bitcoin, or did you have to like, I don't know, send somebody Bitcoin to then buy you a ticket using traditional money? How did it work? How did you trade?
Yeah. So I did that a few times. For buying tickets, for buying like train and etc. All I did was I went online and I found travel agents that accepted cryptocurrency.
Wow.
And yes, they accepted cryptocurrency as a traditional, like any other payment method. So you go onto the website and you see at the bottom, accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Bitcoin. And so that company is called Future Travel. And and there were another one as well called Cheaper. So I could buy all the main travel bits without any problem. So train, plane, hotels, etc., you name it. The difficult part was when I arrived into a city and to do just like the very basic stuff. So like going to buy a sandwich, or going to, if I wanted to do an activity in that city, if I wanted to take a taxi, etc. So in America, what I did quite a lot, and I had like a few months ago, I got an amazing feedback, is I was going to people and say, hey, like, would you buy me a sandwich if I pay you in Bitcoin? Would you go to Starbucks and buy me a sandwich? And kind of like transforming them into like mini businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
And a few people did it. Obviously, like it was mostly going. I felt like a little bit like in a call center where you pick up the phone, and then eventually someone's going to tell you yes. And yeah, some of the people that did that, there were this guy called Lauren, and he sent me a few months ago. He said like, Amelie, do you remember in 2017 I accepted Bitcoin from you? Like, look, the price has appreciated. Like the $90 that I transferred for a hotel room, I think, was now worth like nearly $1,500.
Wow!
So it was like, thank you.
Amazing. And had he had any experience in it before, or was that like his first?
It was his first. Yeah. So
Wow.
I was going to like random people in the street really to ask them. I did reach out to a Bitcoin community because on Reddit there were a huge community for everything Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, loads of like enthusiasts who were buying a lot of it, mining a lot of it. So I mean, like some of the posts on Reddit when I said I was doing this race got quite a lot of like views and people offered their help. So as I was traveling, it became easier and easier to find these people who would connect me and say like, hey, so like if you pay with this, if you pay with Bitcoin, then I can do this and this for you. And then I found out after that the community was so huge that some people even like regular, they started like accepting like rent, like part payment in dollar, part payment in Bitcoin. I mean, imagine like how, imagine like you were accepting, took a leap of faith and accepted like X amount of Bitcoin as a payment method.
It's quite brave, really. Do people think, did you get a few people kind of looking at you as if to say, okay, this has got to be a scam? Like, there's no way this is real. Did you get anything like that from people?
Oh, so many. There is this guy who got really pissed off with me actually in Chicago, and he said it was like, "Madam, this is a dollar economy. No one will accept it. You need to go away now. You need to leave the airport." Because I was going to a load of people at the airport with my little camera.
Like, wow, gosh, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, but you mentioned mining there. Now that's something I've come across a few times. I've been reading some articles trying to appear to be slightly educated on crypto before speaking to you today, which hasn't been successful. What does mining mean when you're talking about cryptocurrencies?
So I won't be the best person to describe exactly what it is because I'm very kind of like high level on like how I understand cryptocurrency, I think. Why I know what the terminology mining is used is because it's very similar to gold. So gold, you mine it to go and extract it from the earth to get the gold. So they thought that they were going to use the same name for crypto, but you actually don't go and physically bash a computer to get a Bitcoin. I would have
that makes sense, and thank you for that. Sorry, so just go back to your travels then. So when you were going through all of these experiences, trying to obviously trade, to travel, and to stay safe and warm and fed and watered, did anything really shock you or surprise you when you were on your travels?
I think is the difference of from one country to another, what the perception was, how they use it. I mean, some of the use case on how they use it is amazing. And I've been reading recently about it and it's amazing. Cryptocurrency, because it's not backed by the government or it's not using like the banks are not involved, what it gives is the opportunity to access not financial products yet, but it gives a mean to access digital trade if you want, or digital trade and global trade without having a bank account. And in the UK, we're very lucky, like we've got like quite a lot, most of us have a bank account, but in some other countries, there is no bank account. So in Africa, not many people have got bank accounts. So if you're in Africa, in your village, and you want to you want to trade with other people, there is cash, but it's very limited if you want to trade with Vietnam, for example, or try to do like an online trade. They don't have this facility. And this is what cryptocurrency is actually helping these people. Like they can, without a bank account, accept payments and therefore like buy other things. So that's what I found like the most beautiful thing is that it can solve financial inclusion. The other thing that I found really very shocking is how some of the governments were reacting. So in Vietnam, for example, I didn't do my research before I went to Vietnam, I've got to admit. So when I arrived in Vietnam, I just thought that everything was the same as in any other country that I'd been traveling. So I went and tried to get people. So imagine trying like in English, trying to go to people and say, do you accept Bitcoin? Like, how do you say, do you accept Bitcoin in Vietnamese?
Yeah, true.
So with just like language, and I got a few people to accept cryptocurrency for so for hotel and to help me out to do some stuff. And then a day later, I found out that the government had forbidden any person or any business to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment because the government was extremely careful and wanted to protect the local currency and the local economy.
Right, yeah.
And so, therefore, they were arresting anyone who was accepting cryptocurrency or paying in cryptocurrency.
Oh, crikey.
And the day before I had arrived, the government the police had gone down into a conference, a Bitcoin conference that was happening, and arrested everyone. So it was kind of I found that quite shocking and quite scary at the time, because basically someone said, like, Amelie, cover your t-shirt, because I was walking around with, I pay Bitcoin on my t-shirt. And the thing that I found a little bit sad about it is the fact that in Vietnam there is millions of people that are unbanked and who have not got access to things that like we got for granted. And it's a shame that the government is not taking these measures to actually try to do something about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. You didn't get arrested in the end then?
No, I didn't get arrested in the end. No, I left pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That is quite shocking. So what can be done, I suppose, on a global level to kind of help educate the governments that are fearful of crypto to kind of show the benefits of it? Because it is still fairly young, and there are risks involved, like any kind of financial transactions or investments, of course. But what more can be done, I suppose, on an educational level?
I think a lot has been happening since 2017, 2018 on educational level. Now, there's many governments who have realized that crypto is here to stay, it's not going to go anywhere. And the blockchain technology actually has got quite a lot of benefit that the government and banks could adopt. So there's a big misconception, for example, with cryptocurrency that is a currency for people who want to launder money and etc. etc. Because it is working on the blockchain and everything is recorded and publicly available, it is very difficult. I mean, like if I was someone, I wouldn't try to launder money through a technology that information, record of transaction are publicly available. I would probably really try to remain with cash where no one will see that
untraceable.
Money is being laundered.
Yeah. Is it the lack of regulation and what's the word I'm looking for? Well, yeah, regulation, because it's not regulated, is it yet?
There is not a joint regulatory framework for crypto globally. So in the UK, there starts to be like more regulation. The FCA is doing like an amazing job on looking at it. In the US, for example, so there are regulation in place, and there is also so like from this is not from regulatory. Regulation from like a trading or a payment point of view, but from an advertising point of view, the regulation is a bit more flex in the US than it is in the UK, for example. So Google allow cryptocurrency company in the US to advertise to US citizens, whereas like in the UK, Google do not allow yet companies to advertise on Google a cryptocurrency product. So I feel like there is a lot of consumer protection, and rightly so, in the UK and in the rest of Europe. The UK has put together a task force, I believe, to look at a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency, and a lot of other jurisdictions are doing the same as well. So there will be more, I guess, like an environment in which companies that deal with crypto will be able like to flourish and the consumer be protected as well.
That'll be really interesting to see the output of that actually, and also good to hear the FCA are doing a lot of proactive work on that too. Do you think crypto will ever become a standard currency and way of dealing, I suppose, in the future, or do you think it will still remain as it currently is, but obviously just used a bit more? How do you see it developing?
I think it's still in its infancy, cryptocurrency, and I do believe that cryptocurrency is the future of money. It makes sense. It is, it is traceable. It's much cheaper to transact, and I think it makes sense like to be like the future of money. And if you look at more like now I'd say like on a level where why it makes so much sense for cryptocurrency and the products are developed onto like decentralized finance, etc. is if we look at on my side, if I look at as a consumer, I look at my bank account and I put my money into my saving account. My saving account will give me 0.25% interest. Inflation rate is like 120, although like I do not believe it's 120 when I see that the pub next door is now having pints for £8.
It's not consistent, is it?
Yeah. So it doesn't make quite sense. And some of the DeFi products, for example, you can put your money, you can put your crypto onto an account, and you get interest on your crypto, and this interest is 4 to 10% every week or something like that. So it's quite huge. You get a lot more out of your money. I find that the traditional system is kind of like failing us as my generation in offering products that will make us more wealthy in the future. I feel like currently, like the way that it is going, we're getting poorer and poorer as it goes. So I do think that with all the technology that is happening, all the beautiful innovation in the DeFi space, that crypto will be a major part of the future. It will be the more sophisticated financial product will be in the decentralized crypto space.
It'll be so interesting to see. And, the fact that you traveled the world, 2017, that's not today or yesterday, using crypto. You managed to do it successfully. You didn't get arrested, which I'm very pleased about. The future will be fascinating. But Amelie, thank you so much for today. This has been great to speak to you. And thank you for helping to educate me on crypto, but also great to learn more about your travel stories as well. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Katy. Thank you.